One of the most important positions in grappling is turtle, but it's not the turtle you may expect. Throughout all of history, we've wrestled as a species. We've tried to put the other person on their back and hold them down. We always hit the same conclusion. Someone on their back is doomed, and we've established why. It's because as soon as they're on their back, they can't generate as much power, which means if someone's on their front and they can get back to their feet, they're still dangerous. Every sport and every form of combat established this. True, your neck is exposed, but that person's still powerful. They can still get back to their feet. Which means turtle is one of the most critical things to understand. It is the bottleneck that defines everything. Is that you could have an amazing ground game and you could have an amazing stand-up game. But the thing that connects the two is turtle. Because you saw in the last section, if I want to get back to my feet, I have to go through this part at some point. As soon as my bottom leg is defended and I try and turn my hips, I'm in a turtle position. And so if my turtle is terrible, that is a very limiting factor. It's almost like an hourglass where I can have this giant upper part, this giant lower part, and in the middle I have turtle. And if that's terrible, everything starts to get difficult. So I'm going to try and open up that bottleneck as much as I can. So usually when turtle is taught, it's taught from the perspective of attacking turtle. Like, this person's in turtle, this person's an idiot, we're going to hold them there and we're going to attack them. Yet, as I've just said, it's been one of the most critical points that if you've had your posture and your balance broken, you've been taken down, how else are you going to get back to your feet if you don't pass through this position? So your understanding of it will change. It's no longer that position that is seen as you've messed up, why are you in turtle? It should then be reframed as the other person hasn't succeeded in putting you on your back. You can still get back to your feet and fight back again. And so I have to then carry over what we've already talked about. I'm going to carry over my understanding of connection to the ground. And I'm going to carry over my understanding that I need to get back to my feet and my posture. And so the first part is who's got the highest hips, is that gravity only works one way, that way. And so if PJ and I are both in turtle, like a dogfight facing in this direction, doing this, if my hips are higher than his, I'm winning. Like, gravity goes that way. So I want to make sure that my hips are higher than my opponent's as fast as possible. So if I can get back to my feet, great. The second part is who's behind the other person's hips. So if PJ was to move 1 inch behind me, yeah, I'm scared now. Like, I feel vulnerable. The same as if I move 1 inch past behind him, yeah, I feel like I'm winning now. It's that simple. And so as I'm trying to get back to my feet from the previous section, I have to pass through turtle. I don't want to stop in turtle. Is that as soon as I stop and I try and hold that position, they can get their hips above mine, they can get their hips behind mine, or they can control my head, they can break my posture, they can do all manner of things, which we're going to look at later. And I'm now going to lose. That's why we need to change how we perceive turtle. It's not necessarily a position that we hold. It's not a position we pause at and then get back to standing. It's a situation where I pass through this as fast as possible to get back to standing, but I have to understand I have to go through it. And so if I'm going back from that previous section where I'm getting back to my feet from standing, I'm going through turtle as I turn here. If PJ gets his hips higher and gets behind me, as you just saw, yeah, that's the problem. He's still powerful against me. He's still got the upper hand. He's still on the higher platform. And so as I'm getting up, I think, right, get your hips above his or get your hips behind his. If I can do that, I'll succeed while still understanding this thing about my elbow. So as I'm getting back to standing here, I got up as fast as I can so I can put pressure forwards upon him. So change your understanding of turtle. Change your understanding from it being a position where you are losing. This narrative from jiu-jitsu that you're just waiting there for someone to put their hooks in, get a seatbelt or choke you or throw you around or something. It's a position that historically was always there that you had to pass through if you wanted to get back to your feet. So if you threw someone down into turtle, they're still capable of attacking you. They're not going to do as well. Their connection and their posture has been broken, but they can still get back to their feet. Change your narrative, open that bottleneck up, connect your two sides of your game.